to this amazing panel of why the future is now and the need to scale this sector rapidly. It really is my pleasure to be moderating this panel with this distinguished group, especially because of the work that I do in engaging grassroots women in renewable energy. I direct the W Power Project, which is an initiative that is engaging women at the grassroots in East Africa, Nigeria, and India, and trying to see how we can scale renewables, not only at the higher level, but at the grassroots, where we know the sector is upwards of 80 and 90% relying on open and rudimentary cooking methodologies. It really is a pleasure for me to introduce to you this distinguished panel from government. Different governments represented here today. But before I do that, I do want to mention a few things. I think for all of us, this is as much as looking forward as it is a celebration of the past, achievements of the Alliance, and we cannot skip the fact that this has been an incredible lighting of the fire, and to use the cooking analogies, but also bringing this issue of cooking and clean cooking to the center stage. Cooking shouldn't kill. Indeed, we know that in the countries represented on this panel, cooking kills. And so we are just thrilled to be able to look at the success of how we can bring this issue of clean cooking so that it is central, it is critical, and it is multi-sectoral. That is probably no other issue that cuts across so many sectors and at the same time affects so many lives, particularly women and children. I'm honored to have this panel that is represented from Ghana, Bangladesh, Nigeria, Kenya, and China. We know for sure that there is a unifying commitment to address this issue of senseless deaths, environmental impacts from solid fuels, and traditional open fires. More importantly, perhaps, is the urgency of the matter. Earlier this year, we confirmed the 4 million deaths, premature deaths every year. That is staggering, and I hope that we will have some direction and some light in this panel about what we need to do going forward to scale and to bring the issue of clean cooking really to the center stage. Allow me to introduce this distinguished panel. I'll start with Dr. Darko Asante. He's the Director of Technical Regulation at the Energy Commission in Ghana. Next to him is Nasrul Hamid, the State Minister of Power, Energy, and Mineral Resources for the state of Bangladesh. Next is Laraba-Mallam, from the Minister for Environment from Nigeria. We also have Engineer Omedi Jura. You're welcome, Deputy Director, National Climate Change Secretariat. And finally, we have Wang Yanliang. He's the Minister's Special Representative and Director General of the Rural Energy and Environment Agency in the Ministry of Agriculture of China. Please welcome these panelists with a round of applause. I want to give each of you an opportunity to take 3 minutes and speak, tell us a little bit about the progress that is being made in the sector in your countries. And we'd like to ask perhaps that you focus on the future rather than what has been achieved. Focus perhaps more on the policies and programs and how you see the sector poised to scale in your particular countries. I'll start with you, Dr. Asante.
Thank you very much. And first of all, I'd like to just quickly say our Minister of Energy sends his apologies. He would have liked to be here himself, but unfortunately he was detained in Ghana by some urgent issues. In Ghana, we've started from a position where over 70%, close to 80% of the population relies on solid fuels, wood and charcoal for cooking. Now, this has been a challenge that we have been grappling with because it's had impacts on deforestation, and as well as we've now realized the impact it's having on the health of women and children. We've had an LPG policy for a number of years, as our foreign minister mentioned a while back, and we've struggled with it mainly because we have had shortages of LPG. But we now stand at a position where, for the first time, we are actually producing our own LPG from the oil fields offshore. Now, it's a happy coincidence, and going forward, our target is to transition 50% of the population to LPG as their main cooking fuel. We recognize that people will use multiple fuels because of the different foods they cook, but the policy objective of the government is to move 50% of the population to using LPG as their primary fuel. Now, this has major infrastructure implications in terms of the distribution infrastructure, in terms of just the regulatory process, because we are moving away from a situation where consumers own their cylinders to a situation where the cylinders will be owned by the distribution companies, and it will be more like an exchange, a recirculation model. Now, there are major issues with that, and the government is dealing with the regulatory changes, the environment to encourage the private sector to invest in these bottle refilling plants, a distribution network. And because this is essentially new, there's a lot of regulatory impacts that have to be changed. So the education, because of the safety issues, LPG is also used in vehicles, by the way. So there are a number of issues that the government is working on. On the other hand, I said 50%. What happens to the remaining 50%? So there's a very strong strategic move to get people to move away from the three-stone wood fire, from the traditional charcoal cooking stove, to more efficient wood and charcoal stoves. And in our alliance with the Global Alliance, we are working as part of our Sustainable Energy for All goals to also transition the remaining population to efficient cook stoves. So that's all about awareness creation, making people aware of the health impacts of the traditional stoves. It involves promotion of private sector, that the small-scale manufacturers of these cook stoves, empowering them to scale up. And again, we are working with the Alliance to achieve those objectives. Essentially, it's a major transformation on both fronts. But we are even going further back to where the wood comes from. We're looking at encouraging people to plant trees so that we don't cut down our forest. So there's woodlots creation. We're also looking at the way in which charcoal is produced, moving away from the traditional earth mounds to more efficient carbonization technologies. So it's right along the whole life cycle of charcoal, of wood fuel. And essentially, it's a multi-sectoral approach, looking at trade, looking at enterprise. And so it's a big thing, and it's something that we in the energy sector could not really do on our own, working with the Alliance, but also working with the Ministries of Health, Ministries of Gender, and getting everyone essentially working together to achieve this objective.
Thank you, Dr. Asante. Mr. Hamid, please.
Very good morning to all. You see, the Bangladesh is a growing economy. And actually, recent couple of years, actually, it influenced the people over there to go for a clean kitchen. That's the thing. 95% of our people, actually, is using this traditional cookstoves. So that is our challenge in the future, how to meet that way, actually. So Bangladesh has recently taken up, in 2013, an action plan. And that action plan is within 2030, we are going to meet at least 30 million cookstoves in clean kitchens. Recently, we have, in the initiative with the government, 1.5 million cookstoves we have changed into clean stoves. And with the help of, you can say the Bangladesh government itself has made this action plan. And this is the first time what I see around the world, the government himself has made that action plan. And we're trying to involve the NGOs who has got the connection to the root levels. GIZ, Gramin Shaktis, both of are actually helping to us involving to build up the awareness. And government has recently has made up the shredder. Sustainable Energy Regulatory Commissions. And for the financial side, government has put up a IDCOL, the Infrastructure Development Fund. And from these two, the NGOs can involve by themselves to mitigate these problems. And we have also have a plan within 2017, at least 5 billion of cooking stoves during this traditional cooking stoves in a clean stoves like that. So Bangladesh, you can say within couple of last 5 years, in renewable energy, we are very big success. If I can say, if you, in the solar side, we have put up 3.3 million houses. It is the highest in the world, and we have achieved that with the help of the government and with the NGOs together, and also with the stakeholders. And now we have meeting like NGOs, giving them tax rebates, giving them microcredits, using the microcredit systems, and we have achieved that. And that is possible, actually. And that is what we are planning to do within 2030, because we have our leader, Sheikh Hasina, the Prime Minister has given us a vision that within 2021, the Bangladesh want to reach as a middle-income country, and within 2030, going to be the development country in the world. So that is the main point that we have to do right now. Now is the action, actually, to mitigate this problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Jura?
Thank you very much. And good morning, colleagues. First and foremost, I want to bring the sincere apologies of our Cabinet Secretary, who was set to come until the last minute. It was unavoidable that she could not. However, I'm happy to represent her here. I wish to congratulate the Alliance for organizing this forum. And without taking too much time, we are also pleased to be associated with this alliance. Now, in Kenya, we have made significant progress in trying to connect renewable energy and climate change as much as possible. And we recognize all that pollutants do as far as health is concerned, things that could be avoided. As you said, cooking should not really kill. For that reason, we have taken up a number of actions that we feel will help move forward. We've also hosted the Alliance as part of one of the countries where the phase 1 action was done. Now, we are one of the worst hit by climate change and its impacts, and we recognize the need for international commitment in joining hands to strengthen global partnerships and collective efforts by stakeholders to address this issue, to accelerate and sustain actions that will help it respond effectively to climate change and the need for reduction of pollutants. To this end, we have done quite a lot regarding climate change. We have an action plan. And this action plan is one of its kind because it has put on board all sectors. And we have done technical analysis in nearly all areas by putting all sectors together. There is, however, as you said, we concentrate on things we wish to make progress on, need for effective monitoring, verification, and reporting of this. Because if you don't monitor, then you cannot really know where your progress is. Upscaling requires also predictable finance. We also need technology and participation of institutions, such as those involved in the upscaling work. I would like to say that identifying key action areas is very important. Agriculture, of course, produces food, and as you said, cooking is killing. But there are things that can be done about agriculture that will be win-win in addressing both climate change and renewable energy replenishment, as well as increasing livelihoods. So climate smart agricultural technologies that promote use of organic manure, carbon sequestration, agroforestry, pasture, preservation, biogas harnessing are among things that we do in this sector, and it's there in our action plan as well. Another key action area is energy efficiency and renewable energy. And to this end, Kenya has done quite a lot, as you will hear even in other presentations to come. Apart from establishing a department that will be responsible for renewable energy and policies, specific policies that I will mention when I talk about commitments by Kenya, there are quite a lot of things that we are investing in, including geothermal, which is clean energy, that will complement these actions that we are talking about here. Restoration and sustainable management of biomass is also a priority, and we have it in our action a plan for the country to increase the forest cover of Kenya to cover 10% of the landmass. And this is something that is ongoing, besides other activities, including agroforestry that we've talked about. Now, as far as pollution is concerned, which is very important here, Kenya's constitution foremost provides for a clean and healthy environment. And to this end, Kenya has developed ambient air quality regulations and standards. These are very important, and we look at this initiative of Cookstoves as a part of what will increase the performance of these or reduce emissions in Kenya to give us better quality air. We also appreciate the work done here by the Alliance, and we are determined to deliver the provisions of our Constitution, also as members of the Clean and Climate Coalition, Air Coalition. Something else I should not forget about is finance. It's an enabler that is very important, and we are trying to look at ways by which we can have predictable finance to be able to upscale some of the actions. Now, regarding policy, our national climate change response strategy that I said has put on board other stakeholders is trying to bring out ways of coordination so that we can also take advantage of climate finance to be able to invest in such. So we have quite a lot that we are doing, and with support from our partners and investors. Quite a number of you, I know, and I've met some who are here, have invested on clean energy in Kenya. We appreciate that very much. We would like to be part of this alliance and to see the next phase succeed. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Jura. Minister Mallam. Yes, welcome.
Thank you very much. I want to seize this opportunity to congratulate and thank the Global Alliance for inviting us to this meeting to share our experiences and to tell the way forward in our country. Nigeria has signed so many conventions, UN conventions on environmental issues in order to address environmental problems. I want to say that in Nigeria, the government is committed to ensuring that it gives its citizenry clean environment, provide facilities, provide all that it takes to live decent lives, you know. So the president, in his own commitment, has provided a lot of money to the Ministry of Environment, where the environment issues are being tackled. he gave us about 25 billion to tackle the problem of the environment. And the cooking area is part of this problem. We have the climate change division with the renewable energy director that is ensuring that women, are being taken care of. Cooking has killed a lot of women in Nigeria in the past. And so we have realized that, and we now said new methods, the new technologies should be introduced whereby women can get access to clean energy so that they can save lives and carry on with other activities. It's not just cooking, but they can also have opportunity to trade, because when they have stoves that are being assembled, they can go to the market and sell this and then make money with whatever they are gaining. So in Nigeria, the government has encouraged us. They have distributed 300 cooking stoves. That is, the National Assembly has distributed 300 cooking stoves to women in the rural areas so that they can stop the use of charcoal and cutting of trees, because we know cutting of trees is harmful to the environment, and with the encroachment of the desert in the northern part is also another problem in Nigeria. So government is doing a lot to ensure that these problems are addressed. The president is going to distribute this, is going to flag off the cooking initiative by the next week. And that, again, is going to help at least 20,000 cookstoves will be distributed. We have NGOs, we have faith-based organizations that have formed communities, association where they can key into the program of the Clean Cookstoves that is killing so many Nigerians. So this is exactly what we have done in Nigeria. And again, the way forward is that the National Assembly has taken it upon themselves to increase in the 2015 budget to make provision for the clean cookstoves that can go around the states so that women can be able to have access to this clean stuff.
Thank you. Mr. Yanliang. We'll applaud at the end so that we maximize the time. So I know everybody's trying to applaud, but we'll allow Minister Yanliang to present and then we can applaud.
非常高兴代表中国农业部来参加今天的峰会。
It's a great pleasure for me to be in New York City for the Cookstoves Future Summit on behalf of China's Ministry of Agriculture.
大家知道，今天全球大约还有28亿人仍然依靠固体燃料来进行炊事和取暖。这些家庭呢，大多是使用原始的明火或者低质量的炉灶。由于固体的燃烧不完全充分，在室内或室外释放出有毒的污染物。中国农业部很早就意识到这个问题的严重性，把推广清洁炉灶作为一项关系到千家万户的大事来抓， 并已实施了一些针对家庭的炉灶推广项目和能源政策，旨在改善家庭的炊事和取暖的条件。
Around the globe, 2.8 billion people still rely on solid fuels such as biomass and coal for cooking and heating. Among them, the majority of families use open flame or low-quality stoves, and the incomplete combustion of solid fuels releases toxic pollutants indoor or outdoor. Having long recognized the severity of the problem, the MOA has prioritized the promotion of clean cookstoves as a matter related to the well-being of millions of households, and has put into place some cookstove promotion programs and energy policies for households to improve their cooking and heating conditions.
在20世纪的80年代和90年代期间，中国的全国炉灶的改良工程就推广了1.8亿个改造的炉灶，成为世界上规模最大而且最成功的国家的炉灶改造项目。
From the 1980s to the 1990s, China succeeded in promoting 180 million improved cookstoves through the National Improved Stove Program, NISP, making the project the largest and most successful national-level cookstove improvement project around the world.
截止到2013年底，中国已经推广了各类的省材节煤灶是1.23亿台，节能炉是3100多万台，节能炕是1900多万铺，生产的企业现在已经达到了480多家，从业的人员是8200多人，年产值达到了10亿元人民币。我们可以自豪地说，中国清洁炉灶推广是世界上最大的一个节能工程。在中国有超过1.5亿的农村家庭，近5亿的农村人口受益，每年节能达到了6700万吨的标准煤。
Till the end of 2013, 123 million firewood and coal-saving stoves of different types, more than 31 million energy-saving stoves, and over 19 million energy-saving heatable brick beds have been put into use after promotion efforts, involving over 480 producers and 8,200 employees with an annual output value of 1 billion RMB. We are proud to say that the Clean Cookstove Promotion Project in China is the largest energy-saving project in the world, benefiting over 150 million rural households and nearly 500 million rural population, with an annual energy-saving capacity of 67 million tons of standard coal.
2010年的5月，中国政府作为国家伙伴加入了全球清洁炉灶联盟。2013年，中国农业部与全球清洁炉灶联盟共同启动实施了中国清洁炉灶的市场调研项目，完成了5个大的区域、6个中国的省市、3600多个农户、130多家生产商的调研工作，对中国农村的炉灶与燃料使用状况做出了一个专业性的评估，初步提出了一个全新的炉灶升级换代的解决方案，为中国实施新一轮的省材炉灶的计划打下了一个比较好的基础。
In May 2012, China joined the GCC as a national partner. In 2013, MOA and GCC jointly initiated and implemented the China Cookstoves and Fuels Market Assessment Project, covering 134 producers and over 3,600 rural households in 6 provinces and municipalities of 5 large areas. The project made a professional market assessment of current stove and fuel use in rural China and proposed new stove upgrading solutions, thus has laid a solid foundation for implementing another round of plan for firewood and coal-saving stoves and heatable brick beds.
今后我们想在4个方面加强与全球清洁炉灶联盟的合作。一个呢是共同组织开展省材节美炉灶炕的试点示范项目。
In the future, we will beef up collaboration with JCC in the following 4 aspects. First, jointly organizing pilot and demonstration program for firewood and coal-saving stoves.
第二个呢是长期开展中国的省材节美炉灶炕的市场的年度的数据调查工作。
Second, carrying out annual statistical survey of China's firewood and coal-saving stove market on a long-term basis.
第三呢是我们建议在中国农业部筹建全国清洁炉灶联盟亚太中心。
Third, preparing to establish the GACC Asia Pacific Center (MOA).
第四个呢是在南合作的框架下开展中国和其他国家的清洁炉灶的合作项目。
Fourth, collaborating with Clean Cookstove programs of other countries under the framework of South-South cooperation.
借此机会呢，我也非常感谢全球炉灶清洁联盟对中国清洁炉灶项目的支持，希望能够通过双边和多边的合作与交流，来共同推进全球的清洁炉灶的推广与应用。
Taking this opportunity, I would like to thank JCC for your support to China's Clean Cookstove programs. It is my hope that we could help advance the promotion and popularization of clean cookstoves worldwide through bilateral and multilateral cooperation and exchanges.
中国也非常希望通过多边和双边的合作，特别是在南合作的框架下，为清洁炉灶的推广和人类社会的可持续发展做出自己的努力。谢谢大家。
With a wish to make new contribution to the promotion of clean cookstoves and the sustainable development of human society, China would keenly like to further cooperate with relevant nations and international organizations, especially under the framework of South-South cooperation. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Yes, indeed. Thank you all so much for outlining so clearly the priorities that your countries are placing on this issue. And I wonder, Dr. Asante, if you could tell us, the Alliance is prioritizing in the roadmap for the next 3 years to have 40 million new households adopt clean energy technologies. These countries that are represented on the panels, on this panel, actually represent more than 50% of that target. What, in your mind, are the key areas that you would say as government or as a nation, and maybe this will apply to other countries, where should we place the most priority in the next 3 years to get the gains that we are looking for and to make the difference? I was thrilled to hear you mention the role that the biomass energy sector can play. But where are the key points of intervention that will make the difference?
Thank you very much. I think it all starts really with awareness. People cook and often are not aware of the impact they are having directly on their own health, but also on the wider impact on the environment in terms of where the fuel comes from. Now, awareness is one of those things which is difficult and actually expensive to create. So the investment in making people aware about the cookstove issue, the environment issue, the indoor air pollution, the health impact, and also just the efficiency gains by taking on more efficient cookstoves. Now, the issue of awareness relies on a supply or an availability of these cookstoves. In Ghana, improved cookstoves have been around for more than a decade, but they are not visible. A few people have them, a few people know about them, but the vast majority of the population don't see them and are not aware of them. Now, in terms of making them available, you could go for a sort of import policy and just bring them from wherever they are. But that has cost implications, that has livelihood issues. In Ghana, we are looking at making sure that a significant proportion of these improved cookstoves, which will displace locally manufactured cookstoves are also produced locally, so that you have people gaining employment, so that you don't have rural communities disempowered in terms of their income generating capability. So it's the awareness and also the supply, making sure that there's a local enterprise, local private sector developed to actually manufacture these stoves, to distribute these stoves. And so you have, if you like, the win-win situation that we're talking about. We create employment and we also better people's lives in the process.
Thank you. The issue of household air pollution is really at the center of the awareness-raising campaign. And I wonder, Minister Hamid, what you think about why the issue of household air pollution is now starting to gain some traction, and how we can make it even more, especially from a government standpoint, even more central, so that we can again bring about the kind of awareness that Dr. Asante is talking about.
In the beginning, let me say something about Bangladesh, actually. Recent years, for a couple of years, I told earlier, that Bangladesh is a growing economy right now. And that actually influenced the people, the living standard of Bangladesh, to meet that problem, actually. Just to give you some of the points, that now the development of the GDP is about 6.5 Bangladesh. And we are targeting to go within 7 to 8 within a couple of years. Bangladesh, you can say, is very lucky. Bangladesh has got the leader, a woman, a prime minister. Not only the prime minister is a woman, also the opposition leader is a woman. Even in the parliament, 350 seats, 50 seats are reserved for women. So if you see about this women empowerment in the world, Bangladesh can be one of the leaders of that. So everyone is woman, even in my house. So she's also taking care of that. So see, so that is the main issues that we have taken it very seriously recent years. Last couple of years ago, we are not so much actually targeting that, but when the living standard was going on, that has become a big issue for us actually to meet that problem. And I wanted to know, recent years in my ministry, I've told you earlier, we have set up the SHREDA, the Sustainable Energy Regulatory Commissions. We have set up the financial side, like ITCOL, Infrastructure Development Fund. From there, we are trying to give finance to meet the, put up the renewable energies, and we have got a target. We have fixed up a target in my energy ministries, in power ministries, that within 2015, the capacity of our whole generation, the 5% will meet by renewable energy. And within 2021, at least 10% of the whole generation will meet by the renewable energies. Now, how this has, and we have got a very successful history about renewable energy side, like putting up solar home system, I told you before. And we want to take that credit. We are the first country in the world. We have achieved 3.3 million solar home system put up together. And we have our target within next 5 years, we want to put another 3 million solar home system over there. Solar has been changed the life in the rural areas. And now it has been considered as the God light. You see, the people, they said it's a God light. So this is a big thing and changed the whole life. So what happened? Actually, the awareness, what our previous speaker said, they developed the awareness programs. Awareness of the women? No. In our country, in the rural areas, the economic controls by the men. The awareness should go to the men. They don't think about this. Whenever they think about the money, they want to spend for better stoves or better clean kitchen. First of all, they think about the money, how much we are going to spend it. When they're thinking about the spending, but they don't think about the health issues of their children and their women in the beginning. They think about the monetary things. So that is the awareness we have to target with in the men sector, in the rural sectors. That yes, you have to spend for your children, for your women, to have the clean kitchen over there. Because when I enter in this room, I saw these two pictures beside that. Very smiling pictures. Remembers my grandmother. But that was very hard. She never smiled when she used to call us in the kitchen, all our children together, sit in front of her, and she's making breakfast in the morning and taking long time to, that making the breakfast, and whole the kitchen was full of smokes. And that was the hardship what we saw. I still remember. So we want to see in the future, within 2030, our leaders, our member parliaments, the whole country wanted to, together with all the stakeholders, had promised to see the same smile what we see. And we want to achieve that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hamid. Yes, please. I had the privilege of meeting some women from India recently, and men as well, actually. And the men in particular the awareness was so low at the time. But after the workshop, the men said they did not realize that they were sending their women to the kitchen to die. And I thought that was so poignant in the way that you're expressing, that men, in many ways, controlling the economy at the house, don't realize their role, and that when they send their women to cook, or their wives and their families, their daughters to cook, which was traditional, that they're sending them to die. And I think that was such a poignant point. Minister Mallam, in Bangladesh, as you heard, women are leading the way. And I know in Nigeria, for you, this issue is extremely important. And I know that you have what is probably a unique situation with the presidential initiative on clean cooking. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
As I said earlier on, we have a very powerful women's group called Rural Women Energy, RUES. We call them Rural Women Energy Security. And Engineer Abubakar, who is sitting here, is the coordinator. She has mobilized women from the different states to form cooperatives, faith-based women groups, NGOs, and women, who are interested in seeing that the woman in the rural area is being assisted. So the women have come together, and they have been organized in such a way that they will be assisted through a microfinance bank to get these stoves. But the stoves are being assembled. That is the problem. They are being assembled in Nigeria. We import the parts and they assemble them in Nigeria. The women themselves assemble them, and they have to go around to get the market, to go to the market areas, to create awareness and to inform other women about the need for us to change from cooking with firewood to these clean cook stoves in order to save lives. The danger, they also, tell them about the danger of cooking with this. But with the presidential intervention, it can only go it cannot go far, because Nigeria is a large country with over 150 million, and 75 are the poor. And so you see, with this 750,000 that the president is intervening, cannot go around. So we still need the international community and our development partners, which they have been doing, UNDP has been assisting, UNIDO, and so on and so forth. They've been assisting. But we still need help, whereby these stoves can be not, imported to assemble, but that they can be manufactured in Nigeria. If that is done, then more awareness will be created, because I cannot tell you that many women are even aware about the Clean Cookstoves. It was just last week that the rural women came together in Abuja to launch, and I declared the launch, and they now went back. Just last week, they went back. The wife of the ambassador of America was there to encourage them and to assure them of the support. So we still need a lot of assistance from, development partners, so that in every state we can have a factory where these stoves are manufactured, and when it comes closer to the people, then there is a greater awareness, because we only rely on the media. We rely on the media to help us create awareness and educate women on the need to change from firewood to clean energy. But then we will not be able to meet the demand. So we still need a lot of assistance. The government cannot do it alone. The state governments, can come in, but we still need support so that women can be assisted, women's problem can be taken care of. The forest is suffering a lot because we have a lot of erosion due to cutting of trees. But again, we are planting trees to augment, the ones that is being cut from the forest. So I want to thank the Global Alliance, because I know after this, we have our sisters who came from Nigeria who will go back to create the awareness that this is what we expect the women to do, change from firewood, charcoal, to the Clean Cookstove.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Minister Yanliang, I wonder whether, yes, thank you all so much. I'm trying to make sure the clock here is ticking very fast, and I'm trying to make sure we get all these incredible inputs. So hold your applause. We will applaud vigorously at the end of this panel. Minister Yanliang, I wonder whether you could speak a little bit to the technology transfer issue. We know that for many African countries, China has become an incredible partner, especially in the South-South partnerships around the sharing of technology. And Minister Mallam has mentioned, as you heard, that making sure that these technologies are not only appropriate, but also available locally and manufactured locally, creating jobs, but also responding to some of the sensitivities of the needs of cooking in our countries. How can China play a role in that?
确实如这个主持人所说的，中国的农村能源，在这个领域，我们有着与南南国家非常多、非常久也非常好的交流和合作。
Just as you said, China has numerous long-term good collaboration and exchanges with other developing countries in the area of rural energy.
特别是在中国的农村沼气领域，我们与南亚地区的印度、孟加拉、东南亚地区的柬埔寨、越南等，还包括非洲的突尼斯、卢旺达、莱索托、贝宁等等国家，都开展了项目的建设、资源的调查、规划的编制和技术的培训等等的工作。
In particular, rural biogas with South Asia countries like India, Bangladesh, and Southeast Asia countries like Cambodia, Vietnam, and African countries like Tunisia, Rwanda, Lesotho, Benin, Ethiopia, and Guinea. We have jointly developed projects for resource investigation and plan making. and have mutual visits and training featuring technologies.
中国政府与联合国开发计划署建立的中国成都亚太区域的早期研究与培训中心，每年都为非洲有关国家这个地区培养了大量的早期的技术人员。
As far as I'm concerned, Bangladesh maintains good cooperation on biogas with Yunnan province of China, the Asia Pacific Biogas Research and Training Center, co-developed by the Chinese government and the UNDP in Chengdu, has training programs for biogas personnel for African countries every year.
我们今后非常愿意与非洲国家和其他发展中国家来共享。 包括清洁炉灶早期在内的中国的发展经验、技术成果，以全球清洁炉灶的这个联盟及亚太中心为平台，加强技术交流，这个推进产品的输出，实行技术援助，开展人员互访，来共同推进农村地区的能源的发展和普及。谢谢。
We are more than willing to share experience and technology achievements in clean cookstoves and biogas with African countries and other developing countries. On the platform of GACC and its Asian Pacific Center, we will enhance technology exchanges, increase product exports, provide technical assistance, and conduct mutual visits so as to promote and popularize clean cookstoves in the global level. Thank you.
Thank you. Engineer Jura, I wonder whether you can speak to Kenya's extremely vibrant manufacturing sector in the cookstove sector, and how the government of Kenya is looking at scaling up this sector in policy and other taxation, perhaps, levers.
Yes, thank you very much. I want to be brief on that. Just as I said earlier, it's a weighty responsibility to guarantee a clean and safe environment for a country, but this is what the Kenya government has done. And as I can also tell you, the government has become a lot more professional in delivering these services with the performance contracting that is becoming a reality. The government appreciates help from others. The development partners and all those that are investing in whatever can help to deliver this guarantee. So there is real goodwill from government as far as that is concerned. Our vision 2030 also is quite ambitious with development aspirations. And as you know, becoming a middle-income country means investing a lot in industry. So the relevant government ministries that are custodians of policy in energy, climate affairs, finance, planning, and all those that are affected, together with the private sector and other stakeholders, including the academia, are joining hands and looking at various options that exist, thereby exploring financing and other opportunities presented by, among others, climate change. Climate change being something that cuts across is a very good entry point. And that's why the National Climate Change Action Plan that I talked about has everybody on board, and everybody can find an entry point there. I would say that so far we have a policy and bill on climate change that are in their final stages. This is also we are among the first, because we've looked at who else has it around the world, and there are very few, really. But this also presents opportunities for actualizing what we have in mind and being able to plan, because this action plan covers 2013 to 2017, and coincidentally, it has informed our development plan for the period as well. We factored in climate change into our planning system. As we say that this action plan placed Kenya on a low carbon development pathway. And that means that mainstreaming this in other sectors will actually give the enabling environment for such investment, just like for the cookstoves, because that is low carbon. These are low carbon systems. Well, I could go into further elaboration, and I know there will be much to say when it comes to what we are committed to doing. But I would also like to say that Kenya has formulated National Energy Policy and Energy Act that includes also renewable energy, and developed standards, really, standards for cookstoves. Yeah. This is very important for this particular forum also. Now, Kenya is promoting the use of improved cookstoves in institutions, schools, and other institutions, together with the Ministry of Energy and stakeholders. This has also gone a long way to create jobs as well, apart from the win-win situation we are getting as far as emission reduction is concerned. And globally, we have, as you know, responding to climate change is either through mitigation or adaptation. And now we have the nationally appropriate mitigation actions that countries have to develop. And the opportunity is there also, because with the reduction of emissions using cookstoves, you can package what we call them namas. So opportunities are there. Taxation is not a problem because of the goodwill the government has and the fact that we're manufacturing locally.
Thank you very much. I wonder, we have one more opportunity for each of you to give closing remarks. And I want to ask you to give a short closing remark, like half a minute. But if you could also give one call to action that, or a commitment that you believe in the next 3 years will make the difference for your country, for this campaign, and certainly for the Global Alliance for Clean Cookstove. Dr. Asante.
Thank you. I think for me, it's an issue of partnerships. We have a partnership with the Global Alliance, and that is what is making the difference in our initiative for clean cooking. We have been working on clean cooking in our own way, but the combination of the Sustainable Energy for All initiative and the partnership that we have with the Global Alliance has put clean cooking on the agenda in a way that it's never been before. We are seeing some major changes in the industry, the private sector, the companies that have been producing these cookstoves on the quiet, finally getting access to finance to allow them to scale up. We are developing standards, as was mentioned, that will allow them to put a premium on their stoves and say, these stoves are better than the other ones on the basis of meeting some criteria. We have essentially a program which will deliver what we are hoping to see in terms of the cookstoves that will be sold, in terms of the transition to LPG. It draws in partnerships. We are working with the UNDP, we are working with SNV, we are working with GIZ, but essentially it's all within the framework of a joint action plan we have with the Global Alliance. So we see a program, we see partnerships, and the government working together with the private sector is sure to make the impact that we're looking for. 50% of our population using LPG from the current 18%, and the sale of improved cookstoves to the remaining population of the country. There is a future, and that future is bright. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, of course, we are looking for a partnership with the Global Alliance, no doubt. So, but in the sense of, in 3 years, our main target is to implement the action plan in a way that we want to raise at least 100 million within 2017, $100 million. Government already start on spending 6.5 billion, and will within 2016. We are looking from the donor money at least 10 million within 2017. And our main target is a smoke-free Bangladesh, 30 million kitchen by 2021. So that is our main target, to achieve that. And that is can be possible, involving our GIZ, and also you know that Gramin Shakti is working very hard. in the microcredit sectors. And we have been very much successful using the microcredit over there. And also government has taken an initiative in my ministries to cut down the tax, at least 10 years tax holidays. So in this way, also making the awareness programs to the religious leaders, involving the religious leaders in a way, in the rural side. That is also very important side. So these are the plans we have taken, and also within 3 years we have taken the LPG very seriously, involving the LPG, but keeping the price low. How we can keep the price low, that is also our big challenge in the futures. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I would like to say that the challenge is great, and opportunities are also there that come with challenges. At national level, it's always good that we remember that planning is key. If we fail to plan, then we are planning to fail, as the saying goes, and it has to be objective. Climate change presents a good opportunity for cross-cutting planning that goes across, and we can take advantage of that as well. But as we do so at national level, make sure that we involve the custodian of policy in whatever thematic areas that we are handling. Sometimes the private sector assumes that they can do better, but everything is guided by policy. Try to work very closely with the custodian of policy, and you'll always see that you succeed. And then globally, we have to really address climate change and also take advantage of the opportunities that it offers, like the climate funds, to upscale such programs as we are talking about here right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Mallam.
Yes, we set our target by the year 2020 is to provide 20 million cookstoves. But like I said, Nigeria is over 150 million, and 20 million cookstoves is really very low. But with proper planning and the involvement of development partners, especially the Global Alliance that is initiating this conference, I think, we'll be able to scale up, and improve on the target we already stated for ourselves. So we implore them, we implore the development partners, and government will do its best, to improve, so that maybe by the year 2020, we'll be able to get 50%, 50 million cookstoves, distributed. And when that is done, then the awareness must have been created, and people will be up and doing. People will now know the benefit and where to get this stuff with the technology transferred to us, because we need that. If the technology is transferred to us, I know what Nigerians can do. We will, even by 2020, all households will be using clean cookstoves. And not only the cookstoves, because in our schools also, we need to provide renewable, rechargeable lamps for the students, because they still use kerosene lanterns, which is still also dangerous for their health. So with this conference here, I'm optimistic that a lot will be achieved in the, not very soon, a lot will be achieved in Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And finally, Mr. Yanliang.
谢谢。我认为要进一步的实现清洁炉灶行业的大规模的发展，关键在于市场化。
In my opinion, market is critical to scale development of the clean cookstove industry.
在行业发展的初期，政府进行补贴是必要的，但是市场发育起来以后呢， 应该走市场化的路子，才可以。
Government subsidy is only necessary at the industry's fledgling stage. Once the market has been cultivated, operations should be market-oriented.
我们中国政府也认识到，要在支持企业开展技术研发，提高产品质量，向用户开展宣传培训教育，提高其对清洁炉灶和燃料的认识，引导其自觉使用和购买清洁生产的炉灶等等方面，政府要进行在市场上进行培育。
The major role of the government lies in cultivation of the market, including supporting companies in technology R&D for quality improvement, conducting awareness campaigns towards users to improve their understanding of clean cookstoves and clean fuel, and encourage the purchase and use of clean cookstoves. Conducting capacity building activities by establishing a trading market and a comprehensive information platform for clean cookstoves, promotion and application.
另一个呢，就要开展能力建设，要建立清洁炉灶推广应用的信息平台，搭建交易市场，来提高企业炉灶技术的储备水平和用户的炉灶的操作的和应用的水平。谢谢。
And as just I said, to conducting capacity building in order to advance corporate technology reserve and user operation techniques. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your attention. Join me in thanking this incredible panel.